Follow these steps to get a juicy pork chop every time.
Oh, it's got a kick. It's got a kick. It's a good kick. Now that is super sorted.
How you doing, guys? Hope you're well. I'm going to do a healthy pork chop dish with some kale. I know what you're thinking. Still going to be delicious with some cauliflower puree, pure clean flavors, very clean flavors, very healthy, done well. And you can do it. Easy to cook, very quick actually. And yeah, I'm going to jump straight into it. Let's crack on. Let's start off with the cauliflower puree. I want this to be clean. I don't want to add any garlic or any aromatics or onions or anything like that. I want it to be milk and cauliflower. I want to taste the cauliflower. So there's nothing wrong with that, but I just like to have milk, cauliflower, salt. Beautiful. So all we're going to do is add our cauliflower, then your milk. Right, important stage. You need to watch that milk like a hawk. Don't have your heat on too high. You want it on a nice gentle simmer. If you have your heat on too high, that milk will rise and it'll get everywhere. So watch it. Cook until the cauliflower is nice and tender on a low heat. Right, now that is ready. And all I can smell is cauliflower. So now I'm gonna get my slotted spoon. I got my blender ready and then just put it in my blender. Not the liquid, just the cauliflower. And by adding the cauliflower first, I've got more control over consistency. So blitz first to see where you're at. And by looking at that, it needs more liquid. It's too thick. So this is where you've got total control over your puree. So add more milk and blitz. That is where I want it. So add it to the pan. So right at the end, touch of salt, just to season, stir. And that's it, simple and easy with 2 ingredients, cauliflower and milk. It tastes of cauliflower, tastes amazing. It's all you need. One important tip, when you're doing purees, make sure everything's hot. It'll become smoother. If you leave it and it becomes cold and you blitz it, it'll become lumpy. You don't want that. Make sure everything's hot and it'll be nice and smooth. Next, the kale, fantastic side. Goes so well with the pork, balances everything out. I'm gonna show you, it's good. Nice, little touch of olive oil. Add your shallots. And you want to cook these for about 3 minutes. Next, add your kale. And then give this a good stir. It may seem like a lot of kale, but it's not. It'll wilt down. Next, add your tomatoes, cannellini beans, and some grated garlic. Nice. Add your stock. And you just give it a little bit of a pop, some vinegar. The reason I put stock in there is because it needs moisture, definitely needs moisture. And the red wine vinegar just gives it some nice acidity, a nice pop, but reduce it down gently until the stock is almost gone and sucked up into that kale. That's it, stock's just about gone. So, a little salt. And then, give it a good stir. Done. The last stage, the pork chops. A lot of people have trouble cooking these. They tend to overcook them and they're just dry and horrible. But I'm going to show you how you cook them properly and make sure you have your chops at room temperature. Every time I make this dish, I use Montreal steak seasoning. This is not an ad or sponsor, anything like that. It just works well with the pork. Instead of seasoning it with just salt and pepper, Montreal seasoning. And if you can't find it, it's fine. But try and find, if you can get this, get it and use it on the pork. Follow these steps to get a juicy pork chop every time. Just to know, I'm working with a 9-ounce pork chop. Right, first add some oil to the pork chop and add the seasoning. The oil just makes the seasoning stick. And with your knife, just nip the edges around the pork. This will stop the pork from buckling when it hits the pan. Right, next, get your pan hot, and I mean hot. I'm using a non-stick pan. Get your vegetable oil in there. When it's smoking, add the pork chops. You want to cook the pork chops for about 2 minutes on each side, and you want to get them beautiful and golden brown. Very important. Beautiful golden brown pork chops. Also, make sure you cook the fat on the edges. Next, your oven should be on 400. Place them in the oven, and I cooked mine for about 12 minutes. To make your life a lot easier, if you own an oven thermometer, even better. Put the probe in the pork, place in the oven, and cook until 140. Not 145 degrees, 140. Take out, let it rest. The heat will rise to 145, and I promise you, your pork will be beautiful and juicy. And that is how you get a beautiful, juicy pork chop. It's very important to let the pork chops rest. Right, let's plate up. So that's it. That's my delicious, healthy pork dish. And if you want a juicy pork chop, follow those steps. A quick note about the plating. It's very clean. It's not fussy. The pork's at a nice height as well. So yeah, give it a go. I think you'll like it. Thanks guys.